This video is on using dimensional analysis when we have squared and cubed conversions that we're dealing with in terms of trying to convert. So the first thing we need to talk about is what kinds of units have squared and cubed conversions. And so squared conversions measure area, so like a length times a width. So an example of that could be any distance unit squared. So feet squared, inches squared, meters squared, etc. And those represent an area. And then when we see cubed, that represents a volume, because a volume is a length times a width times a height. So that's 3 distance units, and it would be cubed. So an example would be meters cubed, centimeters cubed, etc. Okay, so squared units are area, cubed units are volume. We have one conversion factor that we have not seen yet, and this is really important, and it is that 1 milliliter, which is a volume unit, is equal to 1 centimeter cubed. So add this to your conversion chart, put a box around it, put a star next to it, because that's an extremely important conversion that we're going to see in just a little bit, and we're going to have to use it. Okay, so how do we deal with units that have cubed and squared conversions? So this first one is a very similar process to what we've been doing, but it's slightly different. Okay, so we were going to start the same way, 637 centimeters cubed, and we're going to change that into inches cubed. So just for a second, we're going to pretend that this cubed right here isn't there. And so if that cubed wasn't there, this would be a very simple task to change centimeters into inches. Okay, so we're pretending that that cubed isn't there. And we would say, well, there's 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. And if that centimeters originally wasn't cubed, we would be ready to proceed with the math of this problem. However, because of the cubed here, this unit and this unit do not cancel. And the only way I can get them to cancel is to cube this centimeter unit. But algebraically, I'm not allowed to just cube the unit. I would have to cube this entire conversion factor, which means all parts of it would get cubed. So the 1, the inch, the centimeter, and the 2.54. So I'm going to rewrite this. And so 1 cubed is just 1. Inches cubed become inches cubed. Centimeter cubed becomes centimeter cubed. But then 2.54, we have to cube it. And we have to be careful that we're not multiplying by 3. We're cubing. So that's about 16.39, we'll say. And then from here, your units cancel, and we do our math, right? Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and simplify that fraction. And so this ends up being 38.9 inches cubed. So it's a similar process to any other dimensional analysis type problem that we've done, but we have to be careful about the cubed part of the unit, and we have to make sure that when we cube something, we cube the entire conversion factor. And that's going to be a theme that runs through this video. Okay, so what now if we did, actually I'm going to go out of order here. I'm going to do this one next. Okay, so what if we had 26.3 square feet and we wanted square centimeters? So if you're following along on your paper, this one's actually not on your paper, so just flip it over and jot this down on the back. Okay, so same idea, that we're going to start with our 26 square feet. And for a moment, we want to think about, what if this wasn't square feet? What if it was just feet? Okay, like feet to centimeters. And we know that that would be a 2-step. We'd have to go feet to inches to centimeters. So that's still the process that we're going to follow. It's just that then we're going to have to take a second approach and deal with the squared nature of the unit. Okay, so for that first time, we just pretend like the feet aren't there. We would change feet to inches, 12 inches in a foot. But now we have to square the entire conversion factor, okay? So 1 squared is 1, feet squared is feet squared, inches squared is inches squared, 12 squared is 144. So I'm just going to cross it out because I'm being kind of lazy, and then I'm going to say, okay, I did it. From here, oops, I was still on eraser. From here, my square feet cancel, and I'm left with square inches. So I proceed like normal. We think about, okay, just for that instance, what if it wasn't square inches? We would say 1 inch has 2.54 centimeters. But of course, I need to square this. 1 squared is 1, inches squared, centimeters squared. 2.54 squared, we have to do the math. And that is 6.45, let's say. My inches squared cancel. And I'm left with just centimeters squared. We do the math the same as normal. Multiply straight across the top. Multiply straight across the bottom, which in this case are just ones. And divide that. Simplify that fraction. It's going to be a huge number. And it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 24,000. Something like this. Centimeters squared. And that's my final answer. Okay. And then let's do one more that encompasses this new conversion factor. Where is it? This one right here. Of the 1 milliliter is 1 cubic centimeter. So what if we had 92 liters and we wanted to go to feet cubed? So liters is a volume unit and feet cubed is a volume unit. So this is totally doable, but it hinges on this conversion factor. Okay, so if we laid out a path, we would need to do liters to milliliters to centimeters cubed using this to inches cubed to feet cubed. Okay, so we can do it. So 92 liters into milliliters. Right? 1 liter has 1,000. We know the conversion between the milliliter and the cubic centimeter. It's our new one, and that is a 1-to-1 ratio. And so now I'm in cubic centimeters. And we play this game thinking, okay, again, just for a moment, forget the cubed. And I would need to go centimeters to inches and then to feet, right? And then we'll take into account that cubed. So centimeters to inches, 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. But I need to cube the whole thing. So cube this. I'm technically cubing 1, but it's just 1. Cube this, which is 16.39. We saw that earlier. My cubic centimeters cancel. I'm in cubic inches. And then this last step, inches to feet. 1 foot has 12 inches, but I need to cube all aspects of this. 1 cubed is 1. 12 cubed is 1728. My cubic inches cancel. Multiply straight across the top. Multiply straight across the bottom. And simplify that fraction by dividing. And if you do that correctly, you should get somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.25 cubic feet. Okay, so that's how you deal with conversion factors that have both squared and cubed units in them. It's very similar to what we've done before, but you have to take that extra step to make sure that you're squaring or cubing the entire conversion factor.